guys, so I've had a request to film a video talking about the love bracelet and what it is that I think about it now that I've had it for a few months. So I'm going to talk to you guys all about that. I'm also going to bring my husband in at some point so that he can give his feelings on his love bracelet as well, and just give our overall thoughts. Like, are there anything that we regret? Are there things that we wish that we'd thought about beforehand? How's the wear and tear been? Do we think that it's worth it? And more. So with that, let me give you guys my take, and then I'll bring Blake in for his. So starting out, my husband and I got these love bracelets back in August. We had just a lot of things that had happened over the past year, and so we decided to get matching love bracelets just sort of as a love gift to each other. And that's sort of the intention behind these bracelets anyway, is that once you put them on, you get them with someone you love, you put them on, you never take them off, they're eternal, just like love. And I love that meaning. I think that's very, very beautiful. And yes, I get that these things are very expensive and that that's sort of like a little bit of like the gimmicky thing, but at the same time, it is the legitimate reason behind them. And so because of that, I think that it can be a really, really beautiful sentiment. Now, when picking these, we both decided to go with the yellow gold. We wanted matching colors, and I was very set on I wanted the yellow gold, and so my husband said, okay, well, I like the yellow gold on me as well, so we'll go with the yellow gold. The reason that we went with the shiny gold instead of the brushed gold is that the brushed gold is basically, they've taken the gold and they've gone ahead and they've pre-scratched it for you. We didn't want that. Part of the thing that to me makes these bracelets so beautiful is that when you wear them over the course of your life, they are something where it shows your story over your life. Every scratch, every mark that you get on this, you will get because you're living your life with it on, and it's telling your life story. And again, to me, that adds the meaning and the beauty behind the bracelet. So we went with this. Now, we ended up getting different thicknesses. I went with the thin, my husband went with the classic, so there is a price difference there. And I'll let him talk about why he decided to go with the classic. I'm going to talk about why I decided to go with the thin bracelet. So for me, with this bracelet, I just felt that the thin fit on my wrist much better. It gave a much more elegant profile. When I put on the thicker version of the bracelet, to me, it just looked too thick. It looked very masculine, very hard. This one had a softer edge to it on me appearance-wise, and so that's why I really wanted to go with the thin for myself. When looking at these bracelets, they are very expensive. Even the thin is very expensive. So to me, cost had nothing to do with it. I wanted to go with the thin because it's the one that looked the best on my wrist. Since I put this on 2.5 months ago, this bracelet has not come off my wrist a single day. My husband's bracelet has not come off his wrist a single day. And that was another thing, that having the thinner one on for me meant that it wasn't going to be as bulky as I was wearing it around, so I wouldn't notice it as much. I also was able to try it on with my bracelets, and I felt that the thin worked its way best with my current stack that I normally wear. So my David Yurman pearl cable and my David Yurman thoroughbred loop. Those two looked really good with this thickness. The thicker bracelet to me didn't look as good with those other bracelets paired with it, and like I said, it didn't look as refined either. Now, when it comes to the wear and tear, I feel like that the top of my bracelet still looks really great and shiny. When I look at the bottom of my bracelet, and it really won't show up on camera because it's still very shiny as well, there are definitely more scratches along the bottom. Because I work all day on a computer and I'm typing away, my bracelet does knock against my computer, and so it does pick up those scratches. That being said, it really doesn't knock against anything else. It just knocks against my computer because of how my hands have to sit to type and where it normally sits on my wrist. It is able to move around some, but not so much like it goes crazy far up my wrist. Not so much that it feels cumbersome moving around or like it'll get caught on anything. The biggest thing that I had to get used to with this, though, was not sort of how I adjust my hand when I type, because I have taken to sort of typing with like my wrist a little bit more lifted, because the first couple of weeks it's got a lot of scratching on it, and so I sort of changed my wrist position in order to make this a little bit less scratched and damaged as I wear it every single day. The thing that I was not expecting though with this bracelet was getting used to it sleeping. And I know that probably sounds kind of dumb because like I knew that I was going to be wearing it all the time. I didn't realize when I got it how, like, when I sleep, a lot of times this arm is the one that's tucked under my head. And so I had to get used to sort of like changing how my arm was positioned so that like this wasn't like pressing into my wrist, wasn't pressing into like the bone of my wrist or anything like that. And now that I've gotten used to sleeping with it, my hand position's just changed slightly. And so it doesn't bother me at all while I sleep. I don't notice this bracelet on. And sometimes that makes me a little bit nervous because I've gotten to the point now where I don't necessarily realize that this bracelet's on 95% of the time. And because of that, I'm so nervous that one day this bracelet, I'm just not, like, it could fall off and I wouldn't notice. That is how, like, used to having this bracelet on that I am. The other thing to know about this bracelet is that, like I said, I've worn it every day for 2.5 months. I haven't taken it off. Andrew, who I will put his contact information down below, he is actually the one who screwed it onto my husband's wrist, screwed mine onto my wrist. And the key thing with this is not to over tighten the bracelet. If you over tighten the screw, you can damage the threads in the screw and sort of strip the screw. So you want to make sure that it's tight, but it's not so tight that you're creating extra pressure. I have tightened this one 360-degree turn since I got it because it was starting to feel just a little bit loose a couple of weeks ago. Like this part here, because I have the thin, mine is on a hinge. So where the screw is here, I felt like that the bracelet was a little bit loose. Like I felt like that could sort of like pinch it together a bit. And so because of that, I did one tightening of the screw. That was all it needed. It's back to normal. Now, when it comes to if I regret this decision, if I wish that I'd gone with diamonds, I don't. I really like the fact that this doesn't have diamonds on it because of the fact that it can go a little bit more casual without the diamonds. If I were to have gone with diamonds, I would have wanted the full pave because in my opinion, having the diamonds, like just a couple going around looks too little. Having them in place of the screw, like to me, it just doesn't give the right look. I prefer either if it's all or nothing. And all pave diamonds was very expensive and it was more than I would ever want to pay for that. I was wanting to get this because I don't want to wear a diamond tennis bracelet around. I don't want to be wearing a full pave love bracelet around when I am running around to the grocery store, when I am outside doing yard work, when I am exercising, even though, to be honest, I really don't exercise. But whenever I'm doing something, a lot of times I'm much more casual. I don't want to have a full diamond bracelet on. So for me, having just the gold band was more than enough, was plenty. And I actually really like the design of the screws on it. Like I really love that. And so to me, the simplicity of it added to the beauty of it for me because it made it fit much better into my lifestyle. When it comes to if I have any regrets about this, absolutely not one single second. I am so thrilled to have this. I do a lot of times where I have mixed jewelry on and it doesn't bother me to have the gold because my jewelry's all mixed. There are times when I wear all silver, and previously whenever I would try to be going for a gold look, it would sort of bother me that like I had a silver watch on. Oddly enough, whenever I'm going for an all silver look, because this is so subtle and dainty, it doesn't bother me having that on with an all silver look. I think it looks just fine, particularly because I'm so used to doing mixed metals with all the ermine that I wear. And this is sort of more of my gold hand. So right now I have on a shell ring, but a lot of times I have on this bracelet and then my gold Renaissance band from David Yurman. And so because I have that on, this is sort of my gold hand, and then this hand with my wedding set that's white gold, and then my steel watch is sort of like my silver hand, and then I mix in like my David Yurman pieces as well. So for me, I really think that it actually brings me a lot of balance having the gold instead of the white gold. Overall, if you are thinking about getting a love bracelet, I think that is a wonderful thing to get. I think that this though, with how expensive that this piece of jewelry is, I think that this is a piece of jewelry that you should be getting with some sort of meaning behind that. Maybe it's you are really proud of yourself for your own accomplishment and you want to show some love to yourself, whether that be showing love to a partner, to a spouse, to a child, to a parent, to someone in your life who you really, really love and care about, I think that this is a bracelet that you need to attach some sort of meaning to. And I'd always told Blake that this was the one thing that I was not going to buy myself. I can buy myself whatever I want, but obviously with big purchases, like we'd be buying it together, we share finances. But this was sort of the one luxury item that I wanted to be from him, and then I wanted to get his from me. And so that to me was very important, to have that meaning and have that symbolism. And I am not a particularly sentimental person. I think that most people who know me would not describe me as being an overly sentimental person. But when it comes to certain things, particularly to family, I very much am. And so to have this bracelet for me from him and my bracelet to him, both of us sort of feel like it's definitely not our wedding bands, because like we have our wedding bands, but it's sort of like another form of that wedding band. And so there'll be a lot of times where like I'm just running around, I just have on this bracelet and I still feel like I'm sort of wearing like this very symbolic thing of love from my husband on.
Well, that's it. I've hijacked Victoria's channel. It's mine now. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. I'll take suggestions in the comments what we should call the channel now. Anyhow, I'll sign off for now. You won't be seeing Victoria anymore. Have a good one. Goodbye.